Welcome to another English Solutions for Business and Life video. Today, we will be looking at the Global Intermediate book, Unit 8, the vocabulary section. We will look at some topics, 3 topics from the book. The first two will be expressions, and the first topic will be expressions with lose or lost, and the second one, expressions with make or do. And lastly, we will look at some words from the vocabulary that have to do with treasure. So, let's begin. First, let's start by looking at some expressions with the words lose and lost. Do you know some expressions that use these words? We'll look at a list. Lost your mind. What does lost your mind mean? Well, it means to become crazy. A person who has lost their mind has become crazy. Another expression is lose the face. You normally say someone loses face when they do something embarrassing, when what you do doesn't impress other people, and so you lose their respect. They start respecting you or the person that is losing the face. That means to lose the face. That means to lose the respect from other people because of something that they did. Another expression is a lost cause. This means that when you're talking about a situation, you say it's a lost cause when it doesn't have any hope. It's not hopeful. That means that it's going bad and you don't really expect it to go any better. That would be a lost cause. Lose sight of. You lose sight of something when you forget that it is important. To lose sight of something means to forget about it, to forget that it is important. Another expression, nothing to lose. To have nothing to lose means that no matter what you do, it can't get any worse. The situation can't get any worse, even if you try to do something else. You have nothing else that can go wrong. And lastly, to lose track of time. It means that you stop being aware of the time that passes. You lose track of time when you get distracted and you don't see what time it is. You don't see the time pass. So again, to lose the face means to lose respect. To lose one's mind means to become crazy. A lost cause means a hopeless situation. To lose sight means to forget that something is important. When you have nothing to lose, it means that the situation can't get any worse. And when you lose track of time, it means that you might have gotten distracted, so you no longer know, or you lose the awareness of the time. You're no longer aware of the time. Okay, so those are some expressions that have to do with lose and lost. Now let's look at some other expressions. Make and do. For this part, we will make a little exercise. We will have some words and then we will choose whether they go in the make or do section. For example, a favor. Do you make a favor or do you do a favor? You do a favor. What about a test? Do you do a test or do you make a test? You do a test. What about decisions? Do you do decisions or make decisions? You make decisions. A difference. Do you do a difference or make a difference? You make a difference. A little tip with words that have to do with do is things that were already planned or were already made, written out. You fill them out by doing them. For example, a test. The teacher normally makes the test and the student does the test. To do the test means to fill out the test. And to make a test means to create it, make it from scratch, from the beginning. In the case of a decision, you make it from the beginning. You create it. What about a difference? By your actions, you will make a difference. Something new. Something that wasn't made before. Now, in the case of, for example, nothing, you can do nothing. What about a discovery? Is it something that was made already or something new? Well, it's a discovery, so it's something new. So you make a discovery. Somebody made a discovery. An experiment. Well, in the case of experiment, you can make an experiment and you can do an experiment. Let's do an experiment. Let's make an experiment. It actually can be with both words. What about a mistake? Something new, something that wasn't made before, so it's with the verb to make. Progress also goes with make. Make sense, it's an expression. To make sense means to speak or write or communicate in a way that other people can understand. Something that makes sense is something understandable. What about a job? Do you do a job or make a job? You do a job. So those are some expressions that have to do with make and do. Now let's look at some other words. Now let's talk about some words that have to do with treasure. They're in the vocabulary, so let's see what these words are and what they mean. Now let's look at a list of these words. First, chest. What is a chest? Well, a chest is a container. It could be a rectangular container that contains treasure inside, such as what I drew here. Let's use our imagination and think of that as a chest. It has a treasure inside. That's the yellow coins right there. And the chest is the brown box, the brown container that has the coins or the treasure inside. Another word, bowl, and another one is jug. These two are also containers, and they both can also contain treasure inside. A bowl could be made out of wood or clay, and it's like a container that you can put some even food inside, some coins inside. It's a round container that's have a sphere most of the time. That's a bowl, sorry. A jug can be a container for liquids, kind of like a jar. A jug could be made out of clay, and it can contain liquids. Sometimes they contain very expensive oils or other treasures, and they were used to contain these liquid treasures. Now let's look at some of the treasures themselves. But before that, let me just talk about another container. Another container for liquids can be a vase. A vase can be like a jug. It's a container for liquids, and it's a little bit bigger, with a bigger mouth, with a bigger entrance. That would be a vase. It's sometimes also made out of clay, could be made out of metal, could be made out of different things, and it contains liquids. Now, the word that we're gonna look at right now is our jewelry words. You probably already know what jewelry means. It's very things or artifacts, accessories made out of valuable materials that people use to maybe decorate themselves, decorate their appearance. For example, one that you may know is a necklace. People might use a necklace around their necks. It could be made out of different materials. It could be made out of gold. It could be made out of silver. A bracelet is similarly a piece of jewelry that people use around their arm or their wrist. That's a bracelet. And again, it could be made out of gold, it could be made out of silver. Because it's smaller, it could also be made out of platinum. Platinum is also a very valuable metal that in some cases it's even more valuable than gold. Now, what's a chain? You might know that a chain is a set of different rings that are pieced together like this. That's a chain, and it's sometimes, well, most of the time it's very long. It can make necklaces, it can make bracelets. Sometimes these two are a chain that goes around the neck or the wrist. That's a chain. And again, when it's a treasure, well, because we're talking about treasure, it could be made out of these different valuable materials that we saw here. Lastly, a brooch. What's a brooch? A brooch can be a piece of jewelry with a pin. For example, it could be a stone with a pin that goes on clothes. You use it on your clothes with this pin over here. You put it in your clothes and you wear it there. That's a piece of jewelry. It could have a valuable stone, such as a diamond. That's another word from the vocabulary. Diamond. Diamond. A diamond, it's a stone, a colorless stone that is used in jewelry. And there are other words that have to do with jewelry. There are other words that have to do with treasure, but these are the ones that we saw during this unit. So I hope these drawings could help you understand, visualize what they mean, and also know the similarities or maybe how these words in the vocabulary go together. That's it for this video, though. I hope you enjoyed it. You could understand better the vocabulary from this unit. And if you have any further questions, make sure you ask your teacher about them. Okay, see you in the next video.